The warm embrace of storytelling. Once upon a time, in a small village cradled by rolling hills and vibrant fields of green, lived a young girl named Amaru. She was known far and wide not just for her spirited laughter, but also for the insatiable curiosity that twinkled in her bright round eyes. Each day was an adventure, whether it was chasing the butterflies that fluttered over blooming marigolds or crafting daisy chains with her friends. Yet, no moment was more cherished than the one she spent each night under the soft glow of oil lamps, nestled close to her beloved Uncle Kofi. As evening light began to fade into velvety darkness, a warm cobbled path led to Uncle Kofi's home, where Amaru hurried, her heart racing with anticipation. The scent of wood smoke and freshly baked bread filled the air, wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. Upon entering the familiar abode, her eyes sparkled at the sight of Kofi, his robust figure sprawled within the cozy confines of the large, colorful bed that sprawled beneath a canopy of intricately woven fabric. "Uncle Kofi!" Amaru exclaimed with glee, as she hastily situated herself next to him, her curls bouncing with excitement. "Tell me a story." With a wide, knowing smile, Kofi sat up, allowing the fabric to billow like clouds around him. "Ah, dear Amaru, are you ready for a journey?" "Yes," she shrieked, clapping her hands with delight. Kofi leaned back against the wall, his warm brown eyes twinkling like stars. "Tonight, we journey to the land of wondrous creatures, where the mountains touch the sky and the rivers sing sweet melodies." As Kofi spun his tale, Amaru could almost see the vibrant landscapes he described, feel the soft breeze on her skin, and hear the call of the mystical creatures that danced among the stars. The enchanting world he painted was filled with bright colors and joyous laughter. With each word, Kofi breathed life into the stories of their ancestors, tales of bravery, love, and the undying bond between families. "Once upon a time," Kofi began, "there was a brave warrior named Kofi. Much like me, if I may say so." He chuckled, and Amaru giggled with him. This warrior was chosen by the spirits to protect the village from shadows lurking beyond the hills. With his heart strong and his spirit bold, he ventured forth to reclaim the dreams stolen by fear. In that moment, Amaru felt a connection to Kofi that felt almost larger than life, as though they stood alongside the brave warrior amidst the shimmering stars. The boundaries between reality and dreams blurred further with each sentence. And with each challenge, he learned that the greatest strength rested not just in a warrior's arms but in the stories shared among friends. Every word exchanged was a shield against fear, binding them together as a family. As the shimmering glow of the oil lamps flickered softly, the outside world faded. The worries of the day vanished in the warmth of her uncle's voice. The strength of their village thrummed through the walls of Kofi's home, palpable and ever-present. With each crafted tale, Kofi ignited the embers of bravery within Amaru, allowing her to imagine herself as a heroine capable of great deeds. Their laughter echoed, a sweet melody that filled every crevice of the cozy room. Kofi's stories were not just retellings, they were gifts, treasures that whispered of hope, resilience, and the unbreakable bond of family. As Kofi concluded the tale, Amaru's heart thudded with exhilaration. And as our brave Kofi stood against the darkness, surrounded by the love of his family and friends, he knew that they would always stand by him. Not just in stories but in every heartbeat that echoed through their land. Amaru sighed contently, a sense of peace enveloping her. "You make me brave, uncle," she murmured, her eyes drowsy but brilliant, twinkling with dreams yet to come. "All stories do, my dear," Kofi replied gently, tucking a loose curl behind her ear. "They remind us of who we are and where we belong." And with that comforting thought, Amaru snuggled closer, her eyelids growing heavy. Wrapped in the warmth of her uncle's presence, she drifted off to sleep, dreaming of enchanted lands, courageous warriors, and the unyielding love that flourished within her family. It was in those dreams that she felt home, bound by tales spun from the very fabric of her heritage. A tapestry of courage woven under the warm embrace of storytelling. Shadows in the village. The days had begun to blur into one another, streaked with the underlying dread that cloaked the village like a thick fog. Amaru woke each morning to the quiet whispers of worry among her family and neighbors, a stark contrast to the joyful laughter that once echoed throughout their home. The vibrant colors of the village now seemed dulled, the energy of her treasured community dimming under the weight of uncertainty. It was in the heart of the market square, which usually thrummed with the lively chatter of villagers and the sweet calls of traders, that Amaru first sensed something was amiss. Today, it was eerily silent, an unsettling stillness hanging like a heavy curtain. The traders had set up their stalls, the vibrant fruits and fragrant spices laid out in enticing displays, but no one seemed to care, and no laughter erupted. Faces that once radiated warmth now wore expressions of worry. Conversations dropped to hushed tones. Amaru, always the curious child, felt a frown tugging at her lips. She clutched her colorful woven basket tightly, wishing to gather the communal essence of joy and laughter that had seeped so quietly away. Spotting her friend Amina, she rushed over. "Amina, what's happening? Why is everyone so quiet?" she asked, concerned. Amina looked around, her large eyes filled with worry. "It's the illness, Amaru. It's spreading, and no one knows how to stop it," she replied softly, biting her lip. Amaru felt a tightness in her chest. "But we can help. There must be something we can do." She wanted to believe that the village could rally, just as Uncle Kofi's stories had taught her. Bursting with determination and the essence of stories, Amaru headed home, her heart pounding against her ribs. The sun was setting, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch ominously toward her. When she entered their little home, she found her mother hunched over the table, her hands kneading dough languidly. "Mama." Amaru's voice wavered, the frown deepening. Mama Zuri's gaze met hers, weary but filled with love. "Yes, my little one? Why is everyone sick? Can't we do something to help?" Her mother paused, the dough slipping through her fingers. "We are doing our best, Amaru. The healers are gathering herbs, but sometimes these things take time." With that, a cloud of worry settled heavily between them. Amaru felt something inside her swell, a mixture of fear and resolve. She needed to learn more, needed to face this challenging storm that was shadowing their village. That evening, later than usual, Uncle Kofi arrived at her door. His figure, always so robust, seemed slightly more fragile as he entered. "Uncle Kofi!" Amaru exclaimed, rushing to him. She grasped his hand, feeling how it was warm yet carrying tremors of worry. "Do you know about the sickness? Can you tell us a story that will help?" Kofi sighed, settling into his familiar spot. "My dear Amaru, stories are powerful, but they cannot always solve the problems of the world. And yet they uplift our spirits," she insisted, her voice steady and filled with belief. He paused, contemplating her words and how her unwavering trust had always drawn him in. "Very well, perhaps a story is what we need tonight." As Amaru settled beside him, she watched as her uncle began to weave another tale, his voice filled with the strength of conviction. "There once was a village, much like ours, faced with an unseen darkness. Within that village was a girl who, like you, had trusted in the power of her community. She gathered her friends, each with a special gift. One could sing soothing songs, another was a skilled herbalist, and there was also a brave warrior." The story wrapped around Amaru like a warm blanket, but a flicker of worry remained in her heart as Kofi spoke of unity and resourcefulness against the lurking shadows. And they learned that true strength lies not only in stories but in actions. It was their bonds, their willingness to work together, that drove away the darkness. When Kofi finished, Amaru felt the fire within her ignite passionately. She needed to be proactive, not just a listener. "Uncle, we need to gather the children and the families. We can share laughter and stories. It's what we do best." Kofi looked into her determined eyes, seeing the spark of resilience that had emerged from the shadows of fear. "You have a wise heart, little one," he affirmed, the corners of his mouth lifting as he noticed her courage. "Let's gather everyone together." As they approached the village square the next day, Amaru clutched her hands tightly, her heart racing with butterflies of hope. If sharing stories could summon bravery, perhaps they could instill a sense of fortitude in everyone's spirits. She envisioned the laughter amidst the shadows, weaving a tapestry of community and unity. With her uncle by her side, she felt ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. For through the stories of old, Amaru found she could carry the spirit of her ancestors, rallying her village against the uncertainty that threatened to envelop them all. Whispers of the ancestors. The village lay tranquil under the blanket of twilight, yet within it, a current of unease coursed beneath the surface. Amara ventured into the woods that bordered her home, the ancient trees swaying gently as if to share secrets of the past. She sought the sacred grove, a place her uncle often spoke of, where the spirits of their ancestors were said to linger, offering wisdom and guidance in times of need. Finding the grove was like stepping into another world. Sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, casting dappled patterns on the ground, making it look almost magical. The air was fragrant with the scent of wildflowers and the crispness of the earth. Amara felt the weight of her worries lift slightly as she navigated through the familiar path, her heart racing with excitement and hope. "Please, ancestors, if you're listening," she whispered as she stepped into a clearing encircled by towering trees, their branches interwoven like the fingers of ancient giants. "I need your help." She sunk to her knees and pressed her palms into the earth, feeling the coolness beneath her fingers. What would it be like to hear their voices? To receive their wisdom directly in this moment of fear? Amara imagined her ancestors as an assembly of kind faces, wise eyes twinkling in the twilight, waiting to impart their strength to her, a little girl caught in the storm of uncertainty. Suddenly, a soft rustling broke her reverie. Amara turned to find a small group of fireflies flickering to life, their glow illuminating the darkness around her. It felt as if the spirits themselves were playing among the trees, inviting her to listen. She held still, closing her eyes to hear, feeling the sacredness of the moment wash over her. "Amara," an echo came, not loud but undeniably present. Live with courage. The voice wrapped around her like a warm cloak. "I hear you," she called, her voice a whisper that danced on the breeze. "I feel the darkness in the village. What can I do?" "Remember the stories," the voice answered, growing more distinct. "Through the tales of the past, you will find the light. Forge connections, for you are not alone." Amara opened her eyes, filled with a sense of urgency. This was what Uncle Kofi had told her, the power of community, the strength of storytelling. If the village was shrouded in darkness, the answer lay in uniting them once more, gathering their voices and creating a symphony of hope. As the fireflies flickered around her, Amara stood up, determination pouring into her heart. "I must gather everyone," she declared to the grove. "I need to weave our stories together and create a tapestry of resilience." With newfound purpose, she retraced her steps back to the village, the whispers of the ancestors echoing in her mind. If she was to become a beacon of hope for her community, she would need to talk to her uncle first. His stories had always been a source of strength, and tonight they would reignite the fire within. Uncle Kofi, she called upon entering their home, finding him seated at the small wooden table, poring over a scroll adorned with symbols of their ancestry. He looked up, his brow furrowed with concern but softening upon seeing her enthusiasm. "Amara, what is it?" "I heard them, uncle. I went to the sacred grove, and the ancestors spoke to me." Her words tumbled out, a mix of excitement and urgency. Kofi raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "And what did they share with you?" "They said to remember the stories and unite our voices. If I gather everyone and share our tales, we can bring back the light." Kofi's expression shifted from curiosity to pride. "That is true, my brave girl. Stories are our heritage, a reflection of who we are and how we stand against the shadows. Each voice deserves to be heard." Amara beamed at her uncle, feeling empowered by the validation of her quest. "Can we start tonight? Can we invite the villagers to the square?" Kofi nodded, grasping her hands in his. "We shall gather them. Tonight, we bring them the light of the past. Through our stories, we'll weave a net of strength." Throughout the late afternoon, Amara and Kofi prepared. Word spread quickly, whispers stirring in the hearts of the villagers as they began to emerge from their homes. Curiosity piqued. They wandered toward the square, drawn by the promise of stories, while the village breathed a collective sigh of hope. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the skies with hues of orange and purple, the villagers filled the square, the energy electric with anticipation. Amara stood beside Kofi, her heart swelling with pride and excitement. "Welcome, friends," Kofi began, his voice resonating with a warmth that settled over the crowd. "This evening, we gather not just as individuals but as a community united in our history and our strength." Amara felt a rush of energy surge through her as she prepared to speak. "We are the echoes of our ancestors, and through their teachings, we will find solace together. Tonight, each of us has a story worth sharing, a thread that binds us to one another. With her uncle by her side, Amaru breathed deeply, ready to unleash the light of their shared tales. Each a spark strong enough to conquer the shadows that had been lurking too long. The strength of community. The square was alive with whispers and laughter, the kind of soft rumbles that have long been absent. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden hues on the gathered villagers, anticipation simmered in the air, thick with the promise of shared stories. Just moments ago, Amaru had felt a storm of fear. Now, a flicker of hope danced within her. Kofi stood tall at the front, his familiar voice like a warm blanket wrapping around the crowd. Tonight, we gather to breathe life back into the stories that have shaped our village, to connect our hearts and remind ourselves that we are not alone. He gestured kindly toward Amaru, encouraging her to take center stage. With a deep breath, Amaru stepped forward, her heart racing. She scanned the faces in the crowd, familiar smiles, worried frowns, and curious glances. "Thank you for being here, everyone," she began, her voice wavering slightly but gaining strength as she pressed on. "We are here to remind ourselves who we are. In our stories lies our resilience. Let us share together." As the first story was told, an older man by the name of Bob Mwanga took a step forward, a glimmer of pride shining in his eyes. "I remember the drought of 5 years past," he said, his voice trembling but steady. "Our crops withered, our hopes crushed. But we came together, banding our efforts. It was only through our unity that we were able to bring in water from the stream, digging channels to nourish our fields." The villagers nodded, murmuring in agreement, their spirits lifting as they recalled the strength they shared. Amaru felt a gust of warmth rush through her. Memories flowed like a river through the crowd, igniting their connections anew. Next, one of the women, Amoni, rose to share her tale. "In my youth, I grasped the essence of community when I lost my mother. It was my neighbors who brought me food, who held my hand in silence, and helped me mend my broken heart. In that softness, I learned that we carry each other's burdens." Tears glistened in many eyes, yet warmth settled deep in their hearts as they echoed, "Together, we are strong." With each story shared, Amaru could feel the collective heartbeat of the village rise, a pulsing rhythm of resilience against uncertainty. These people were family. They were threads woven tight, creating a tapestry far stronger than any one of them alone. She thought of the whispers of their ancestors calling upon them to unite, and her heart soared with pride. Kofi smiled at Amaru, sensing her spirit igniting with every tale woven. He beckoned others forward, and soon children took turns sharing stories they had learned from their elders. Laughter erupted, illuminating the gathering like stars breaking the darkness. "Remember the tale of the great river?" a boy exclaimed, his eyes gleaming. "It flowed strong and fierce, cutting paths through rocks and earth. Only together could the river's waters continue to flow. No one can stand alone against the obstacles." The crowd cheered, and Amaru felt a buoyant joy envelop her. She realized this gathering was not just about recounting hardships, it was a celebration of their strength and triumphs. With each story shared, the shadows that had lingered began to dissolve, replaced with laughter, determination, and camaraderie. As the night deepened, the flickering lanterns cast a warm glow, transforming the square into a sanctuary where love and hope thrived. Villagers exchanged stories, bonding through laughter, tears, and heartfelt experiences. Feeling emboldened, Amaru took a moment to look around, embracing everyone in her gaze. This was the essence of home, a tapestry of unique colors woven into one strong fabric. The earlier fear had transformed into something radiant, something powerful. It reminded her of Uncle Kofi's teachings, that the stories of their past would seed their resilience for tomorrow. Once more, someone stood to speak, a quiet voice cutting through the cheerful chatter. It was Jabari, Amaru's father. His presence, usually quiet but strong, commanded attention as he cleared his throat. "Those stories remind us of our shared strength, the very heartbeat of this village. And it is through our unity that we shall overcome this struggle." Amaru could feel the pride swell within her, knowing her father was a part of this community, a leader among them, addressing them with the love only he could impart. "Let no one forget," he continued, his voice strong, "evil may come in many forms, but with our willing hearts and strong hands, we can cast it away." A cheer erupted, echoing against the walls of the night. Amaru beamed at her father, while tears of gratitude glimmered in her eyes. They were thriving together, a village embracing its legacy. As the stories twinkled into the stars overhead, Amaru realized that the strength of their community was more than just words. Here lay the light, the laughter, and the love they would carry through this life, hand in hand. When the darkness threatened to creep into their hearts, all they needed to do was reach for each other, for together their stories would continue to flow, like the great river, indomitable and united. A tapestry of hope. As the sun dawned on a new day, Amaru awoke with a heart bursting with energy. Last night's gathering had ignited something deep within her, a fierce determination to bring the village together and celebrate their strength. Their stories had woven their hearts closer, galvanizing her to create something lasting, a symbol of hope that would embody the resilience they had shared. Inspired by the tapestry of connections forged through their stories, she envisioned creating a tapestry of her own. "Today, I will craft a tapestry of hope," Amaru declared as she burst through the door of her home, ready to bring her vision to life. The morning air was crisp, and the village buzzed with activity, but Amaru's mind was glued to her goal. She needed materials. Bright colors to represent the vibrancy of their community, textures to embody the varied stories that made up their identities. "Mama, I need some fabric," she shouted as she raced into the workshop where Mama Zuri was hunched over her pottery, painting delicate patterns. "Fabric, you say?" her mother replied, looking up with a smile that softened worry lines on her face. Zuri's hands were speckled with clay, evidence of her labor. "What do you need it for, Amaru?" Amaru's eyes sparkled as she animatedly explained her plan. "I want to weave a tapestry to remind everyone of our strength. Each piece will represent a story." Zuri's expression shifted from curiosity to warmth. "What a lovely idea. How can I help?" Together, they rummaged through the storerooms, layering cloth of various hues and textures onto the table. The colors danced before Amaru's eyes, a deep blue to symbolize the strength of the river they cherished, a vibrant red for the courage showcased in their stories, golden yellows bursting with laughter, and soft greens that echoed the life that thrived within the village. "Take whatever you need, my love," Zuri said, a hint of nostalgia in her gaze. "This fabric holds memories of our family. Use it wisely." Amaru felt the weight of her mother's words. This was no ordinary tapestry. It was a living testament, a narrative woven into the very fabric of their lives. She gathered her supplies and headed to the central square, determined to share her vision. When she arrived, she found other villagers still caught in the storm's aftereffects, but today's energy felt different. There was an underlying pulse of anticipation simmering just below the surface. Amaru set up a space among the community's gathering spot, laying out the fabric while ideas swirled in her mind like leaves in the wind. As village members trickled into the square, Amaru beckoned everyone over. It was a motley crew of diverse ages and experiences, their eyes curious. "I'm creating a tapestry of hope," she announced, her voice strong and clear. "Each of you can contribute a piece to represent a story, your story." Surprised murmurs aroused interest as the villagers exchanged glances, some skeptical but others intrigued. "What kind of story?" a shy child asked from the back. "Anything," Amaru encouraged. "Funny moments, times of courage, or lessons learned. Every story makes us who we are." An older woman stepped forward, her hands weathered but steady. "I have a tale of my own. I can share a piece of the blanket I used to keep my children warm during the long nights. It reminds me of love. I will share colors from my flower field," a cheerful woman added. "Once, I painted my fence with laughter and sunshine." Slowly, stories began to unfold as the villagers stepped forward, adding swatches of their fabric to the growing collection. Amaru was awash in warmth as she guided them in sharing their tales. An elder recounted his first harvest in jubilant tones, while a young girl spoke of befriending a trembling bird. As the tapestry took shape, laughter replaced mumbled doubts. Threads intertwined, colors mingled like notes in a song, each voice adding a unique rhythm to their collective melody. The atmosphere buzzed with joy as bonding formed around each narrative, stories highlighting the unity within the tapestry. Kofi appeared suddenly, his presence igniting another wave of excitement. "Amaru, why don't we tell the stories as we weave?" he suggested, beaming with pride at her ambitious endeavor. "Great idea, uncle," Amaru replied, her heart fluttering with anticipation. They began forming a circle around the tapestry, allowing the villagers to share tales while attaching their pieces. Each stitch resonated with laughter, tears, and inspiring journeys. For every moment recalled, a thread was added, embodying the values they cherished, threading together the myriad emotions they held. With her fingertips dancing over the textured fabric, Amaru marveled at how this tapestry transformed into more than just a collection of colors. It became a story in itself. It represented resilience, memories, and love, a tangible reminder that they were never alone, even in the darkest times. As daylight waned, a sense of reverent joy enveloped the village. The finished tapestry hung prominently, glowing softly in the fading light, a beautiful mosaic of interconnected lives, a testament to their journey together. Tired but exhilarated, Amaru took a step back, pride swelling in her chest as she surveyed their collective creation. "This is our tapestry of hope," she proclaimed softly, a smile dancing across her lips. In the faces around her, she saw reflections of their ancestors infused in the vibrant new creation they had crafted together. It was a reminder that together, they could withstand anything, bound by love, stories, and the unbreakable strength of community. Dreams of tomorrow. As the first rays of dawn seeped through the cracks of the village, Amaru felt a flutter of excitement mixed with trepidation. The tapestry of hope hung proudly in the central square, its vibrant colors gleaming with a radiant glow, a testament to their resilience and unity. But as excitement bubbled within her, so did a nagging thought: what next? The night of storytelling had rejuvenated the village, but the invisible shadow of illness still loomed. Although they now possessed a symbol of strength, Amaru understood that their next move was crucial. She gazed at the tapestry, remembering the stories woven into every thread, and she felt a pulse of determination and responsibility. With resolution set in her heart, Amaru sought out Kofi. She found him sitting on the porch, the rising sun illuminating his thoughtful eyes. "Uncle, the tapestry is beautiful, but we must keep moving forward. The village still needs hope." Kofi nodded, pride radiating from him. "Yes, dear Amaru. While the tapestry is a symbol of our past, we need plans for the future. You are right, dreaming is just the first step. Taking action is what will pave the way. Let's gather everyone again." Amaru suggested eagerly. "We can discuss how we can help each other and take care of ourselves while sharing stories about what we want for the future." Kofi smiled, fully embracing her enthusiasm. "Excellent idea. Make a list of things we need to discuss and let's set a time." With her mind racing with possibilities, Amaru scribbled down ideas as she jogged back to the vibrant square. As she strolled, she was met by familiar faces, bright as the morning sun, each one wearing thoughtful expressions in the wake of the tapestry's unveiling. Laughter spilled between groups of children playing, a soothing balm against the heaviness of uncertainty. That evening, the square began to fill again with villagers eager to continue the journey forged during the tapestry's creation. Amaru stood on a wooden crate, heart fluttering with a mixture of nervousness and excitement. "Thank you for joining us once more," she called out. "We gathered to unite our voices, and now we need to dream of tomorrow." As the crowd settled, her father, Jabari, stepped forward. "Remind yourselves that our dreams today shape the world we'll see tomorrow." His steady voice washed over everyone. Amaru breathed deeply, feeling the warmth of support surrounding her. "I believe we can find solutions for our village. We must produce more food and make sure no one feels lost again. Our strength lies in collaboration." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Slowly, hands began to rise, and one by one, villagers shared their thoughts. An elder proposed rebuilding the irrigation system to ensure steady water supply. A skilled herbalist suggested planting medicinal herbs to bolster health. Amaru listened intently, adrenaline surging through her as each dream flickered to life. "We can create a community garden," she echoed enthusiastically. "Let's combine our resources and knowledge to grow healthy crops." Excitement buzzed in the square as voices blended into a chorus of ideas and plans. Dreams of revitalizing their land ignited every heart, stoking flames of unity and hope. Amaru envisioned children tending to the crops, laughter spilling like the sun over their efforts. Just as discussions began to take shape, a soft voice piped up from the crowd. "What about the children?" It was Amina, her brow furrowed with concern. "They need nurturing and something to do during this difficult time." "Let's create a storytelling circle for the children," Amaru exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. We can share stories, teaching them about our culture while keeping their spirits high. Brilliant, Kofi added, his pride deepening. Imparting knowledge through stories will allow the children to give hope back to the community. We can blend storytelling with farming, encouraging them to help in the garden. Everyone was ablaze with enthusiasm, ready to take on the challenges ahead. As the plans solidified, Amaru felt a wave of resolution sweep over her. This was not a single evening of stories but the beginning of a collective journey, a turning point where their hopes breathed life once more. In the days that followed, the village rallied around their dreams. Hands joined together for planting, tilling the soil with laughter as children frolicked nearby, content in their storytelling circles. Each dusk saw tales shared over crackling fires, breathing vibrancy back into the nighttime. Their connections deepened, producing not just crops but a culture thick with resilience and pride. The tapestry now represented a dynamic legacy, each thread vibrant with life, woven into the fabric of the community's heart. One evening, as the sweet potatoes began to bloom, Amaru sat alongside Kofi, gazing at the tapestry swaying gently in the breeze. "Do you think we did right, Uncle?" "With all my heart," he said softly. "You sparked a fire in this village, dear Amaru. Your dreams gave rise to hopes we longed for. You are becoming a beacon of light, just like the stories of our ancestors promised." As night wrapped the village in its tender embrace, Amaru felt a surge of joy. The dreams of tomorrow were blossoming, grounded in their unity and momentum. And for the first time in many moons, hope shone brighter than the darkness, glowing like the stars above. Their future was alive in every heartbeat, a tapestry of dreams, woven together by hands, filled with laughter and warmth under a blanket of possibilities. Did you enjoy this video? If so, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to join us for more amazing stories every day. Here at Daily Anything History, there's always something new to discover. See you in the next video.